All right, Black Power. Assalamu alaikum. Free the land. And in Africa, when we say E-Africa in Azania, the response is Izwaletu. Izwaletu means the land belongs to us. So when I say E-Africa, I want y'all to work with me and say Izwaletu. Okay, so we're going to start over again from the top. Black Power. Assalamu alaikum. Hotel. E-Africa. When I say Izwaletu, then you say E-Africa. Izwaletu. When I say one settler, you say one bullet. One settler? One bullet. When I say one bullet, you say one settler. One bullet? One settler. Okay. When I say Pamberi, you say Nachimarenga. Pamberi. All right, we're going to get back into it. Let's start again. First of all, give yourself a black hand. Is the audio working? Thank you very much for bearing with me. I'm kind of stressed right now. So just, I don't want to say a prayer for me, but just work with me for a minute. I've been working on these damn computers. Pardon my language, it's darn computers. I'm in the house of the church. Let's give Reverend Daughtry a strong round of applause. Okay, they say my mic is on. Give me a round of applause. It's an unusual opening, but bear with me because I've been pressed to make sure that this webcast gets out to Africa. We got brothers and sisters that are listening in Africa. Tell me if my sound is on, those who are there watching me. Tell me, Minister Shaw. They're listening in Africa, Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, West Africa, across the United States, in London, and in England. And so I have been burdened with making sure that this webcast, and let me get this screen here, God. All right. I've been burdened to make sure that this message gets out and that it gets out in the right way. And so I'm going to smile for the first time in about 48 hours. Let me take a breath because I was fussing all the way. So I'm sorry, Akbar. But let me say this. Let me start over again now. Black Power. Assalamu alaikum. Hotel. Free the land. E-Africa. Izwaletu. Pamberi. Nachimarenga. I'll get further into it in a moment. Giving honor to God, I bear witness that regardless to land, label, or language, that there is but one God. Whether that God is called Allah, whether you just call that God the Father, or some say Jesus, whether you say Jehovah, Atum, Atumre, in other parts of Africa, Babaluaye, Obatula, Shango, or from where we just came from the land of the Zulus, they hold up one finger and say, Kulum. I bear witness that regardless to land, label, or language, regardless to ritual, rite, or religion, I bear witness that there is but one God. Sisters and brothers, we give thanks here for Abraham, for Moses, for Jesus, or Yeshua, who we know as the Black Revolutionary Messiah. And to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and all of those we know from Scripture. But I was raised in the West, in the hills of North America, and I believe that God has found favor on us. So I thank God in this hour for Harriet Tubman. I thank God for Sojourner Truth. I thank God for Reverend Nat Turner. I thank God for a man that taught us about Africa, and he taught us Africa for the Africans, at home and abroad. He taught us, which is one of my themes tonight, one God, one aim, and one destiny. And that man is the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I thank God for him. And his spirit is with us and will be in this message tonight. I thank God for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I thank God for Minister Malcolm X. I thank God for Noble Drew Ali. I thank God for Dr. King, for Rosa Parks, for the original members of the Panther Party. I thank God for Kwame Ture, known to others as Stokely Carmichael. All of those who have gone on, the Honorable Chairman and Dr. Huey P. Newton. But if I live to be 1,000, or I just don't quite make it to 1,000, if I live to be the ripe old age of Methuselah, I can never thank God enough for a bold, bald-headed black man who came before me, who taught me what I am, taught me about who I am, made me what I am and what I am becoming. And I speak of Minister and Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. And so, I'm back from Africa, from Azania. Can you say that? Azania, that's what the original people, the indigenous people of that land call it. I'm back from Azania and Zimbabwe. And I want to thank God again for blessing us with a strong delegation of members of the new Black Panther Party, some of whom are here with us and will share in the question-answer session. I'm back from Zimbabwe, and I got something to say tonight about this man, the Honorable Comrade Dr. Robert Mugabe, His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe. I have a lot to share with you tonight, and I want us to interact and share with each other. I've been home on a homecoming journey, a revolutionary tour and pilgrimage, if you will. And I want to tell you what's happening on the ground in South Africa, what's happening on the ground in Azania. How are the people living? What about freedom and this independence in South Africa? The ANC, the PAC, all of that I want to discuss tonight. But again, I want to thank God first for bringing us up on them, in those airplanes, in the air, for blessing us with 16-hour flights there and back, and to bless us to come back safely. I want to thank God for bringing me and bringing us through the hands of United States Customs, Homeland Security, FBI, and the CIA, who tracked our tracks, marked our steps, detained some of us, many of us on our way back, and harassed us. But I'm here to tell you that the Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. The Bible says to resist the devil, and the devil will flee from you. And so I'm happy to tell you that we're being successful in this hour, and our mission was successful. Let me just read my messages, make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Thank you, I'm fine. Look, it was full of life. Let's go to the next slide here. Let's go the other way. Let's stop right here, though. We'll tell you more about this man tonight. Dr. Chairman Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, because it is Sobukwe. Show him on the webcam, Ms. Akbar. Make sure you zoom in on him. It is this man here, Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, that I want Africans in America to get better acquainted with, because it was his students, his children, his successors in the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania. They are the ones that hosted and invited us on this mighty tour that I will share with you, and they are part of what we are building, which is a liberation front of Pan-Africanists throughout this planet. But it is that man, March 21st, 1960, as we come from celebrating the 53rd commemoration of the Sharpeville Massacre, March 21st, 2013. But it was that man who stood up against the racist apartheid system, the white government of South Africa, and their brutal, oppressive, inhumane, diabolical, demonic apartheid system. And he organized the people against the past laws and all of the restrictive laws, the oppressive laws that the African had to face in Azania. Past laws. Where are your papers, says the white man to our grandmothers, to our elders, to our brothers and sisters. Have you paid your taxes? All of the oppressive past laws was one of the major oppressive systems in South Africa. But it was this man who in 1960, March 21st, organized the people and called them out against the past laws. And it was in Sharpeville, where 69 of our brothers and sisters was gunned down, ages 60 to 60, men, women, children, and babies, gunned down in Sharpeville in what we call the Sharpeville Massacre, March 21st, 1960. It was 69. We can go on to the next slide. It was 69. Stay focused right here, Akbar. It was 69. And others in what they call Langa, near Cape Town. You can go to the next one. 69 of our brothers and sisters martyred at Sharpeville, and that's why we were invited to the Sharpeville commemoration. I was blessed to be a keynote speaker at Sharpeville, and there were thousands there. Let's go forward. That's us on the plane, taking off. Here we go, right here. I'll come back to Sharpeville in a minute, but I want you to remember the name of Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe. Can you say Sobukwe? Sobukwe. When you think of Kwame Nkrumah, when you cry out the name of Stephen Biko, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Touré, you can't call out those names. Patrice Lumumba. You cannot call out those names without calling out the name of Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, the founder of the Pan-Africanist Congress, and he is at the origin of the resistance to the apartheid system. I'll get back to Sharpeville in a moment. These are our comrades in the PAC, in the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, which is gathered. But let me say this. Let's go to the next. Keep it right. Let's go to the next one. Sharpeville. But before I talk about Sharpeville, let me say this. In Africa, our brothers and sisters are so full of life, so full of joy. You can't be in a meeting like this or a speech like this breaking out in song. I mean, every 10 minutes, if you get to rocking in a speech like this, somebody is going to jump up in the audience and start singing one of their revolutionary songs.
That's right. That's right.
Over here in America, we've been robbed of our tongue, robbed of our language, robbed of our religion, our culture, our God, but most of all, robbed of our joy. What did I learn in Africa, Dr. Shabazz? What did we learn in Africa? King Samir, who traveled on that journey, protected my life, Bilal, Sharif, who are here, others from the Nation of Islam, and other pastors. Before I go further, I thank God for Reverend Herbert Daughtry. He's been in the fight for our people for a long time, at home and abroad. And specifically abroad, it was he who was deeply involved in the anti-apartheid movement, and his church to be used as a divine vehicle, a divine location for activities in the movement yesterday and today. Where would the Pan-Africanists be, the black nationalists be, if we did not have a friend in Reverend Herbert Daughtry? And so they asked me sometime, well, why are you going to speak at the Brooklyn Christian Center? Why would you speak at the house of the Lord church? And I have to tell them straight up, I grew up in the church. And my mama's still in the church. And my family is still in the church. And so we got to get clear in this movement that the black Muslim is the brother of the black Christian and the black Hebrew. And the same dog that bites them bites us too. We are one family. And I want to say this clear on this webcast, that there is no division amongst religion in our movement. We don't get divided on religion at all. One God, one aim, and one destiny. I bear witness that regardless to land, label, or language, that there is but one God. But so much song and life come from our family in Africa. When I come to America through a meeting, I see the level drop a little bit. Because they took our culture, our language from us. So over there, if I'm giving a speech in about an hour, I'm going to hear 5 or 6 songs in the course of a few minutes. But I have a defense for the black man and woman of America. Book of Psalms in the 137th chapter said, by the rivers of Babylon we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. Said, we hang our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and that they wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of those songs of Zion. You know what I have to say to us. Sing it, slave. Said the slave master to the black man and woman of America. This scripture being parallel to our condition as the Hebrews of the scripture were taken from Jerusalem into Babylon, so the black man and woman taken from our sacred place in Africa into this modern Babylon, this modern Sodom and Gomorrah, this modern Rome, called the United States of America and referred to critically as the United States of America. Psalms 137 in the 4th verse say, the Hebrew children saying, how shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? How can you sing, black man and woman, in a strange land? How can you sing from your African tongue, from your Zulu tongue, from your Xhosa tongue, from your Swahili tongue? How can you sing a song in a strange land? You don't even know your language. You don't even know your heritage. That's how I felt when I went there. I was able to recapture parts of my heritage and my African experience and to realize the effect of us being robbed. How can we sing a song? How can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? But not over in Africa. So let's go here. Sharpeville. Take me to the next slide. Here we come. We're coming through strong, too. Into Sharpeville, our allies and those in the Pan-Africanist Congress and those who are watching, especially I want to give a strong hand here for Brother Chris Sankara and those in the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, all of those soldiers and warriors that invited us there. Give them a strong round of applause. But I'm telling you, I felt like I went to heaven. Go to the next slide. When I was in Azania, literally, when I wake up every day, I say, welcome to heaven. The weather was bright, beautiful, and sunny. South Africa is a diverse and multifaceted country. Here we are at the Sharpeville site. And I'm going to get right into that in a minute, but I don't want to finish my first point. I want us to stand and give the pastor of this house, Reverend Herbert Daughtry, a strong round of applause. Give him a strong round of applause. Because, you can be seated. He's what the Bible calls a good shepherd. A lot of people have lied on me. If you go on the internet, the white man has lied on me. And some black people have lied on me. And so the Bible talks about the good shepherd. If anybody listening on this webcast, I would like a fair hearing tonight on what I'm doing, what the new Black Panther Party is doing, and a fair hearing on what we're doing and what we believe in. I want, when you hear about Robert Mugabe, President Mugabe, I want him to have a fair hearing tonight and in the future. We can't let the devil continue to spout and give out misinformation and to mislead us. And so we thank God that we have somebody that will host us to allow a fair chance and a fair opportunity. I want to thank Yah and Oba of the African International Merchants Agency who spearheaded this event. Let's give our family a round of applause. Thank you for welcoming us home. And before I go further, I'm always saying something before I go further, but I have to say to those who are in Brooklyn who are listening that we will return to the murder scene of young Kimani Gray in Flatbush, Brooklyn, and that we will deepen our organizing efforts, and that we will return in a couple of weeks and we will go off deep in those neighborhoods doing the work that we must do. And if those children have to come out of school, then they'll come out of school, and we will do what we have to do to maintain the pressure on the New York City Police Department. This battle is abroad, but this battle is at home. Don't think I've gotten so caught up with abroad that I don't know what's happening right here at home. I will be back in Flatbush with my pamphlet from Black Lawyers for Justice. It is entitled What Black People Need to Know When Dealing with the Police. We must arm ourselves with knowledge, legal knowledge, and we're in a fight against the New York City Police Department, a fight against illegal stop and frisk, against abuse of the case Terry v. Ohio, illegal Terry stops, illegal stop and frisk, illegal searches and seizures, police brutality. Everybody needs to know. They think we have it so good in America, and I'll speak to that. But one thing's for sure, we don't have it good with the police of New York City, or the police of Prince George's County, or the police in Washington, D.C., or the police of Atlanta, or Texas, or Los Angeles, California. Nowhere around the 6,000 square miles of America does the black man and woman get a fair deal with the police. Police brutality, murder, stop and frisk, abuse of all kinds are still taking place against the black man and the black woman. So keep posted, because I want everybody to have this in their glove box. What black people need to know when dealing with the police. It gives it to you, everything you need to know. How to remain silent, why to remain silent, how to refuse searches, why to refuse searches, why to stop talking to the police on the scene, stop talking to them when you're arrested, stop giving confessions, stop, be quiet. It's all in here. I'll get back to it later, but I just want to let you know that I'm committed to the ground struggle in New York, and the Panther Party is back from Africa, and we are committed to this ground struggle right here in New York City, and we will not let that young man die in vain. Now, let's get back down into it. Sharpeville, a spiritual ceremony and commemoration. You can keep going. They were there. These are the grave sites, actually. These are the actual graves of the 69 who passed on March 21st, 1960, who were assassinated, who were murdered, just gunned down and cold-blooded by the white apartheid officers or cops of the apartheid government. Some of them as young as 6, some of them as old as 60. We paused. We paid honor. we found out and embraced their struggle. And I found out, dear sisters and brothers, that their struggle is very similar to our struggle. I found out that their movement and the origins of their movement is very similar to what we call, what they used to call the Negro Revolt, or the Black Revolution of the 1960s. The same things that the white man have done to us, here he did to them there. The same things that he did to their minds there, he had done to us here. And so, a lot of similarities in our struggle in South Africa and America. And so the teaching is true. It's the USA and the USA. One over there in 1913, it was formed called the Union of South Africa. When Britain formed the Union of South Africa, you know, there's some history there, the Boers and the so-called Afrikaans, the Dutch and the French, and the wars they fought with the British. And anyway, when the white man took power, he dubbed it the Union of South Africa, the USA and the USA, the United States of America. Both of them are twins. One is the little brother and one is the big brother. One is the little devil and one is the big devil. You guess which one is which? Let's continue on. As in the Pan-African Congress, that's their salute. Continue on. These are very touching moments for us on the ground in Africa. Continue on. Here we are, marching. One of our greatest moments. Just there and able to be a part of marches. I mean, there was thousands there that came in for Sharpeville from all over Azani. And we got right out in the midst of them and were able to march with our brothers and sisters. Let's continue on to the next one. I'm somewhere in there. Anyway, no better feeling than to be out there in the midst of thousands of our brothers and sisters marching in Azania, in Sharpeville. No better feeling. Continue on. Say, just like us. I could have been right here, right up off 125th Street, right up off in Chicago, Illinois. I mean, they look like us. They resemble us. They just sound a little different. But you better be sure you ain't nothing but an African. I'm telling you, and who are listening here, you ain't nothing but an African. Nothing but an African. No hyphenation over here. There may be hyphenation over there for you scholars. African American. And then, man, I'm African. Straight up. And when I went to Africa, I realized how African I was. I felt right at home. Let's go. Here we are here. Let's back it up some. Because we're going to talk about our message at Sharpeville. You know, and you can't worry about a lot of security there. They say, well, something might happen. Stay in the vehicle. Stay in the car. No way. I'm getting right out there with the people, and these brothers on security, they better get right with it. Because ain't no hiding place in this day and time. I love being right on the ground with our sisters and brothers, right there in Azani. I mean, thousands of it. And brother, they showed us so much love, so much appreciation, so much respect. Every day it brought tears to our eyes on a daily basis. That's right. Now we went on into Sharpeville, and we gave a strong message. So let's take a moment to talk about some of the issues in Azania. Because many of you have come to believe and have been misled that Azania or South Africa is actually liberated, that it has actually achieved its independence. But such is not the case, and they will tell you that right there. In South Africa, there are serious problems. There are problems with the police. You heard about the miners, didn't you? All of the miners that were gunned down and killed, not by the apartheid police, but by who? So-called black police from the majority party in power. Police brutality is a major problem in South Africa or Azania. There was a brother right before we came, a cab driver, who some police officers hitched to the back of a police van and dragged his body and dragged him to his death like they dragged James Byrd. Like the white supremacists dragged James Byrd in 1998 right here in Jasper, Texas. Some of that is still today happening in South Africa under the hands of the police of the majority party. There's problems with police abuse. It's not necessarily the white man now, it's a black man and a black woman police commissioner who earlier they were calling for her resignation. Police brutality. But bigger than that, economic problems. The gap between rich and the gap between poor is severe in South Africa. I mean, now it's nice. Like where we stayed, nice. I mean, it was a nice guest home, somewhere off in the hills. You could see your BMWs and Volvos, a few Mercedes. It was real nice. I mean, it was like heaven every day. Thanks to our host, and thanks to Sister Pinky, who had that thing hooked up. They hooked us up, and we was living first class every day.
That's right.
And in South Africa, there are blacks who have made it to what they call the middle class. But the gap between middle class and those that have means and those that have nothing is striking and startling. Let's continue on. I'll show you a little bit what I mean. This is our delegation members, and this is where we were. This is where we were staying. Let's continue on. It's over here. I don't want you to forget. We'll come back to them. Right here. That's more Sharpeville. You had to be there to experience it. Continue on. Thousands out there. Some of our guests were from the Azanian People's Liberation Army. Have you heard of APLA? Raise your hand if you've heard of APLA. APLA, which is the military branch or the armed branch of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania.
Right.
APLA are the soldiers that fought the apartheid regime in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 80s.
Go ahead.
And when I say fought them, they fought them.
Go ahead.
I'm talking about AK-47. I'm talking about guerrilla warfare.
That's right.
I'm talking about from Mozambique, from Tanzania, from Zimbabwe. I'm talking about across the line and back across the line and in the bush. I'm talking about making a noise in the east, striking in the west. I'm talking about guerrilla warfare waged by some of our people. You don't have to necessarily read about the Viet Cong or about somebody else who fought their enemies in their land and think that your struggle has only been nonviolent. Your struggle has not been only nonviolent. You have black men and women that I met. I met veterans from APLA, veterans from the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, veterans in Zimbabwe. I met real live freedom fighters who have had their blood shed, their relatives' blood shed, and have shed blood for the liberation of our people. Righteous blood. Huh? Let the church say amen. Because if overthrowing a wicked racist government by any means, if that ain't in God's plan, then we can leave out of here. But since it is, and since I can prove it in the scripture, then I'm going to say I thank God for APLA. And also I want to let you know that we are members also of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania.
That's right.
And I want to let you know that we are members of APLA too.
That's right.
How they sing it? APLA, the mighty APLA. You guys see them dance. Boy, they cut up. They always dancing over there. APLA, the mighty APLA. And they got military dances over there. They cut up. Apla. Remember that to the Crips and the Bloods who are listening, and those here who are busy fighting and killing each other. We met black men and women who haven't been fighting each other at all. The only ones that they have been fighting and their mamas and daddies have been fighting is the enemy and the murderer of our people. Apla. Here we are in Sharpeville again. I was blessed to get the rostrum in front of thousands. They had us standing on the wall, and they all come in singing. I mean, strong black men and women. Send chills up your spine. That's all of us, our delegation. That's King Samir, Shabazz. Always had my back. I never had to worry about security. I could worry about books and diplomacy because of my security. They were stellar and staunch, cold-blooded all the way. And they got there, as soon as they arrived, they were given the right equipment. I mean, what a blessing. I mean, as soon as we hit the ground, baby, they give you the right stuff. I'm talking about real live revolution. Because I had always thought that if I'm going to go to Africa, you know, but I never wanted to go as a tourist. I don't knock the tourist. You go to Ghana, you go to Egypt, you go on a tourism. But I said, when I go to Africa, I had a vision. I said it won't be as a tourist. It'll be a political tour. It'll be just about the liberation struggle of our people. I didn't know how it would take shape, but I saw it in my mind, and little did I know that it would pan out. You know, and some people thought, well, he's out of his mind when I started in January saying Africa. We're going to Zania. We're going to South Africa. We're taking a delegation. They say he's out of his mind and he'll never make it. But what a man put in his mind and determined he will do and fight and struggle day and night, he can bring it to a manifest reality. And that is the one reason why we went and carried it out, because we want to show the black man and woman of America and the world that what you develop in your mind and vision of good, and if it's righteous and it's in accordance with what God wants, he'll take you through whatever he got to take you through, but he'll bring it into a manifest reality. Now, I've gone to Africa and I'm back now, and I feel stronger. I feel bolder, I'm more mature, I'm more in tune with my culture, man. I'm not jiving you, I feel transformed. I feel transformed. Even with all the stress I went through today just to get to this webcast, I'm back now, feeling like I'm in a Zania, right on this rostrum here. Let's continue on. Hit the next slide, please, my dear brother. Man, let me tell you this, black man. They want me to buy a house, and I'm going to buy a house. I'll tell you about Zimbabwe. I'll tell you about what you say here. We want a land of our own. We want separation. We want a land of our own. Well, I'm going to tell you about that land of our own. That land is in Africa. I mean, we can fight now. They owe us Georgia. They owe us Florida. They owe us Louisiana. They owe us Alabama, Mississippi, Carolina. They owe us land, minerally rich and fertile land with ports and access to the sea. We deserve reparations. Don't get it wrong. But for those who are serious about separation and repatriation, I went to a land. Let's go to this is one of our morning briefings. I went to a land, hold right there. I went to a land that was fertile and minerally rich. I went to a land that was expansive and had beaches and waters from the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. I went to a land that had diamonds and gold in the ground, I went places where they said they have land for the black man and woman of America that wants to stand up for the liberation in Africa. There's land waiting there for us, and don't you believe the lies of our enemy when they try to tell us that Africa is just a land of savages. Africa is just a jungle. You don't want to go to Africa. Don't go to Africa. Africa. Yeah, you know who is in Africa? The Chinese is all in Africa. The white man is all in Africa. When I'm on South Africa Airways, it's packed with who? White people. When I'm headed into Harare, Zimbabwe, even though they got problems with Mugabe, I'm on the plane with who? White people. When I'm checking out who's doing business, it's white people and Chinese people in Africa. And so they want to keep you and I blind to the love of Africa and to the value of Africa and to the fact that we need to engage in Africa, go to Africa, be in Africa, trade with Africa, live in Africa. And so I'm going to buy me a home in Africa. And I'm going to get my law license in Africa. And I want to get down into the courtrooms in Africa because I studied the civil law system and all of that. I was so excited. I'm still excited. Look, we hit the front page of the papers. Oh, yeah. No, we was rocking. Let me say you straight up. We was rocking. God was blessing us up in there. We hit the front page of the top papers the next day. Even the president of the nation, when we came in and they knew, he started to take a stronger line against the police. He had to come out against his police and others, because you know Sharpeville is a day that belongs to the PAC because of Sobukwe and the real revolutionaries. Now you know about ANC, right? In America, we're taught about Nelson Mandela and the ANC, but we're not taught about the PAC. But let me tell you this, the people that really believe in liberation, the people that really gave us this cry, Izweletu. Izweletu means the land belongs to us. That's what they fighting for. They saying every square inch of the land belongs to us, not some rainbow. You don't allow a man that break in your house. He break in your house, rape your wife in your house, kill your children in your house, take all your valuables and possessions in your house, put you out of your house, make you a slave in your house, and God bless you to get freedom and independence? Do you go downstairs with the robber of your house and say, sir, I'd like to sit here and negotiate with you about my house? I'll take this part and you take that part? Do you do that? If God bless you to get power back over your house, you take strong action against those that robbed you and took your house. So we don't believe in no one man, one vote. And that's part of the problem in South Africa today, one man, one vote. I was taught you give them 24 hours to get out of town by sundown.
That's right.
Hello? Let the church say amen. Amen. We hit the front page. We hit the front page in Azania. And from what they tell us, that the boost, the momentum that the new Black Panther Party gave, that Attorney Shabazz gave by coming to Azania, they told us that they hadn't had that kind of momentum or boost in years. They've been trying to wipe out the PAC because the nation is getting volatile there. The gap between rich and poor is getting to the point where they can't stand it anymore. The people are getting upset. It's black people there that's billionaires. It's black people there that's multi-millionaires. But I gotta be straight up. Many of those in power in the ruling party have cut a deal with white multinational corporations and have cut deals with the whites who used to be in power, and they have gotten the money, and the people are still suffering. And so there's some blacks that have gotten rich, but a whole lot of blacks that have not gotten that promise of a home for everyone, electricity for everyone, water and decent education and housing for everyone. That dream has not been fulfilled. And so what you got in South Africa is on the verge of a boiling powder keg that is going to boil over soon. And they don't want any group there that's strong with the right values and principles to be able to catch the people once that regime falls. But something is going on in South Africa. It's dissatisfaction. And dissatisfaction is the mother of change, as I was taught. And it's alive and well. And so I say to the PAC in South Africa or Azania who are listening, we must rebuild the PAC right away. Quick, fast, in a hurry. We must make the PAC stronger than ever and do whatever it takes to make it stronger than ever. We must have a Pan-African, not just a Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania. We must have a Pan-Africanist Congress of Tanzania, a Pan-Africanist Congress of Zimbabwe, a Pan-Africanist Congress of Ghana, a Pan-Africanist Congress of Nigeria, a Pan-Africanist Congress of America. We have to build a Pan-African movement, as they say, from the Cape to Cairo. From the Cape to Cairo. From Morocco to Madagascar. Or as we say, from New York to Nairobi. Or Washington, D.C. to Watoto. Wherever it is. On the 196,940,000 square miles, Pan-Africanism cannot perish. Pan-Africanism has to be the dominant ideology of our people, regardless to what your religion is, regardless to what your tribe is, regardless to what your nation is. It's Pan-Africanism. It's what? It's what? But not just any kind of Pan-Africanism. A revolutionary Pan-Africanism that is designed to uproot and to overturn the enemies of African people. Not a Pan-Africanism that supports some over-bloated, rich class claiming Pan-Africanism while the masses are suffering. No, a revolutionary Pan-Africanism where the wealth of the land, the wealth of the soil, the diamonds, the minerals that are in the soil, the resources that is shared equally amongst the people. Huh? Do you understand what I'm saying? This is what's going on in the world. This is where the momentum is. That is the cry is Izwaletu. The land belongs to us. Hit me with the next one. We will hit the front page. Y'all all right? Bear with me for a minute. I'm not going to be long, but I must be strong. Just what I'm talking about right here. I know the light is up here, but look, zoom in on this right here, sir. You got that? Get the scene here, and let me talk about Soweto, then you come back to the rostrum. This is Cliptown, Soweto. Soweto, sisters and brothers, did you know Soweto has 7 million people? You thought Soweto was a little township, 50,000, 60,000. You thought that was something you just heard about. June 16th, 1976, what is that? Tell me your history, African. June 16th, 1976. Talk to me. It's the Soweto Uprising. And that's where you know about Soweto from. The Soweto Uprising. June 16th, 1976. And I'm going to say this so I don't forget it, and I'm going to come back to it. June 16th, 2014, we will return, and there will be a worldwide Pan-African convention right there in Azania. Here's Soweto, here, Cliptown. Dirt roads. No bathrooms in them houses. Those houses are made out of tin. They are not running water in those houses. There's a porta-john at the corner, and it's running water out there, and it's dangerous. I'm talking about poverty in some parts of Soweto. Now, Soweto got good parts now. Soweto got Volvos, BMWs, nice detached homes. Oh, but there are other parts of Soweto and other parts of Africa that we need to get acquainted with, and that the black man and woman of America who say they live in the projects and who complain about how bad they living, I want you to come and walk down this street with me. Because I saw some poverty in Africa that would make your worst project in America look like the suburbs. I saw real poverty. And so it was rough. It was rough here in Soweto and in homes that were made of tin and without electricity. Some of them just grabbing electricity from somewhere with their own wires. Dangerous as hell. Go to the next one. It was rough. Here's some more. Soweto, just a typical street in Cliptown. A typical street. Rough. Now, all of Africa is not like this, but some of Africa is like this. And there are reasons why some of it is like this, but I gotta let you know that this is the essence and the core of why we're here. When we talk all of these lofty terms, liberation, Pan-Africanism, free Africa, all of that talk, but it boils down to helping the black man and the black woman that's suffering from economic injustice. That's the main point behind all of this. All right? When we saying ease were laid through, the land belongs to us, it's so that we can get control of the land and give the people what they deserve out of the land so they don't have to live like this. Africa has been misused and abused and exploited by white people and even today by black people, and that exploitation must end. And a movement is coming to birth that is going to end it. Black power? Let's move on to the next one. This is Cliptown, Soweto. And this is a Cliptown youth program or orphanage in Soweto. These are our little brothers and sisters here. I got to tell you something. On one hand, I feel for them. I do. But on another hand, I saw something that God showed me, Reverend. He showed me and he showed us, Sharif, Samir, that even though you don't have nothing or you have very little, that you can be rich in spirit. Oh, yeah. I saw some young brothers, they put on a show for us like you wouldn't believe. Oh, they danced and they did oratory. Where they did oratory and they came forth speaking strong like I am now. And they showed me, I said, man, this is future leaders. Every one of them, our young brothers and sisters, that came out speaking strong and a strong presentation for us. And they danced and sang with such spirit and such liveliness. I said, if these young brothers and sisters just had a chance, if they just had a better chance, they would rule the world. Those of you who are listening, get your head out of the ground. Lift your head up here in the hills of America. These children are orphans. Many of them are orphans. But man, you couldn't tell that by their spirit. I mean, their spirit was up and high, and they took our spirit up. If they ever had a chance, they ruled the world. Look, this orphanage in Soweto, Cliptown, I'm happy to tell you that I have and that we have adopted this orphanage. That we have adopted the orphanage in the youth center in Cliptown. We gave up several $100s on the spot. And every month we are sending donations to our youth center and orphanage in Cliptown. Yes. Every month, we're going to gather items and clothing that are needed, and we're going to ship them overseas to our family. FedEx, I'm going to tell you in a minute. FedEx Sister say, how can she donate? I'm going to give out some numbers during the course of this presentation. Because some of y'all are with us, man, and I want you to be with us. I don't want you to think this is just something exclusive to a small group in the new Black Panther Party. I've met black people all over America and the world that love what we're doing, and I want y'all to give me a chance. Give me a chance tonight. Y'all all right here, but you don't know. These people have lied on me and lied on every black man that ever tried to help us. And I'm trying to tell you that Malik Shabazz ain't crazy. Malik Shabazz is no fool. Malik Shabazz got the right stuff if I can get your support. Now, multinational corporations like FedEx and many other companies are operating in Africa. And effectively, they are sucking the blood of the people in Africa. And effectively, we are going to hold them accountable and get what we got to get from them to give it to the people. And we're going to call on you in America when we come out with the list of these companies, and FedEx is one of them. And when we get ready to move on these companies in America, move on these companies in England, move on them throughout the world, we are going to force them to give up the goods for our babies in Africa. Now, can you stomach that? All right. Let's move on to the next slide. But I want you to know that the youth center and the orphanage in Cliptown, you will see more of that on our website, newblackpanther.org. And we will tell you in the course of tonight how you can donate, how you can help, how you can make a direct contribution to help our youth in Azania, South Africa. Plus, hey, if you get hooked in with us, then you got the hookup when you go. If you work with us, you want to go in with the hookup, right? But we got the hookup. We got the connections, not just for us, but we got it for you. I spoke at the masjid or the mosque in Soweto. In Soweto, I was blessed to speak at the masjid. And to be honest, I really didn't want to go. Although I'm a Muslim, I really did not. They was forcing me to go. I kept saying, well, just take me somewhere else. Because, why would you say that, Shabazz? I say that because, you know, I just didn't want to get off into religion. When I'm dealing with the condition of our people and I'm rolling over here with Christians and some of them that are indigenous African religions and I'm a Muslim, we rolling just fine. And then I knew I had to go to a masjid, and in the masjid, it wasn't all African. In the masjid, it is like the Ummah of Islam. You got black, but you got brown, you got some from India. So I said, man, I got to go in here, and I got to speak to all of these different kind of people. And I was thinking to myself, man, what a drag. But, I followed the orders of my delegation, because they wanted me to touch bases with all the community. And I really found some decent brothers and sisters in the masjid in Soweto, mainly brothers. That's another thing we deal with, the patriarchy, matriarchy. I'll get into that in a minute. Got some things we got to work out. But God blessed me to teach a talim in this masjid, which is a class to all of the believers after Jummah. And I wasn't prepared for it. I just sat in that seat and dropped it. And God blessed me to give a strong message in that masjid. And you know what that message was? That message was worship no God but God. Bow down to God and God alone. And to the Muslims, the message was, America is not your God. Don't bow down to the Pentagon and to the White House as you ought to Almighty God. I taught them and went over there and taught them respect for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And told them how we got there, that we are the children of Malcolm. And I had others from the All-African People's Revolutionary Party that went with us. They are Stokely Carmichael or Kwame Ture's disciples. And we got to talking about Malcolm. I was teaching on Malcolm. But I told him that Malcolm's main strength was his Islam. But he got that Islam from Elijah Muhammad, who got it from a man who came from Mecca and appeared in America July 4th, 1930. And so, no, the answer is when I went into this masjid, I didn't trade my teaching for their teaching. I took my teaching and gave them my teaching from the Holy Quran and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And it was nothing but love when we finished. I mean, nothing but love when we finished. There were some other things said, but I don't think I should say it on this webcast. Because when I get into that Islam spirit and start talking that Islam, you know, we start talking that talk, you know. Wakatilu fi sabilillahi ladina, yukatilun nakum. That kind of talk. Anyway, let's continue on. My message to the Muslims in Azania, South Africa, was that the Muslim Ummah, the community, and the ulama, the clerics, and the teachers, or the maulanas, the teachers, that you all cannot isolate yourself and your work to Muslims alone, that the Muslims have to help the black man and the black woman, no matter what their religion is. You have to help them in this nation to get free. That's what my message was. No more Muslim for Muslim alone. Muslim for the general liberation of the people, then the people will join Islam. And so I was able to put that message across. Let's continue on. Oh, I think this is dark, but I know where that was. Go to the next slide. This is Soweto, a typical block in Soweto. These are nice homes here, driveways and all that. Back before that, go to the next slide. I think I got here we go. One of my favorite shots. Here we are here, outside of the home of a man you need to know also. He's called the Lion of Azania. His name is Uncle Zeph Motufang. Zephaniah Motufang. Let me hear you say that. Zetun, I bet you can't spell it. It's all right. Zephaniah Motufang. He was the president of the PAC after Sobukwe. They call him the Lion of Azania. Now, he is the man who was a mentor to Stephen Biko. He is a man who was behind the 76 Soweto uprising on the quiet tip because they have whitewashed the history of Azania, South Africa. Do you know that they have a whitewashed education system? Like the black man and woman, you better work that camera, sir, and get the right shots. Don't fall asleep. They have whitewashed the system in Azania the way they have whitewashed the educational system here. Do you know that the young people in this country of Azania don't even have the true history of their own country? Bring that camera right back here, sir, to me. You go from there, then to me. All right now. You know, me and him, we've been fussing for the last 250 miles, so I love him though, but we gotta get the message out, man. I'm telling you. Now look, Zephaniah Motufang, he was behind the consciousness of Stephen Biko. He was a mentor to Stephen Biko and what they call the Black Conscious Movement of Azania. He was there also behind the 1960 uprising. It was Zeph Motufang, like Sobukwe and others that spent years on Robben Island. These are his children, Uncle Zeph Motufang. Oh, and they speak of him highly. They say he is fierce. They say he endured the most torture of any of the prisoners. That of all the prisoners, he was the most staunch and dedicated when it came to absorbing torture. Because many of them, all of them, ANC and PAC, all of them have spent time on Robben Island. Oh, wicked Robben Island. Tell me to the next one. These are some of his children, and they still organizing. We were having heavy sessions where we would go in and we would be building heavy on Pan-Africanism and the movement and learning our history. Every little meeting and session was a blessing. All day, all night. It was up early, 7 o'clock, out on the mission, all day, all night, little bit rest, back up, back on the mission. I mean, I wanted to see me some rhinoceros. I wanted to see me an elephant or a tiger or something, but I just didn't have a chance. Maybe next time, because it was all organized, 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 and I loved every second of it. So this is another one of them sessions. I think, oh, this is Baba Buntu. Help me out, Samir. Give me the name. Give me his center. Eku Boshini. Give it to me. Somebody text it to me. And I got to get it right. Baba Buntu and the Eku Boshini Center. He's a great cultural teacher. Go to the next one. We had great cultural sessions. Because whether you know it or not, in Azania, South Africa, they need to know about their own culture. Many of them is trying to become whitewashed like us. Rick Ross is as popular as anything right over there. I'm right in Harare, Zimbabwe, listening to MF this and MF that, right from Wale. Right in Zimbabwe on them iPhones. No, you better believe this. Over there, that's why we were popular over there. They looking to us over there, but they haven't seen nobody from over here with sense. Over there, they looking over here. But all they hearing is MF this and MF that. And it is destroying the fabric of their minds. And so we were some of the first blacks from America that it came in a while that was talking the right talk. This is Bob Brown, Kwame Ture's ally. He represents the All African People's Revolutionary Party, GC, the AAPRP, GC. We're allies and comrades, and you'll hear more about that later. He's like a mentor to me. I lost Dr. Khaled over 13 or 12 years ago, but I've been blessed to have other mentors and elders that I get counsel, that I get guidance from. Let's go to the next one. This is one of them keys. From where? From where? Oh, bloody Robben Island. The bones and the blood of revolutionaries are right there in Robben Island. And this is a dungeon key from Robben Island. A dungeon key from Robben Island. Given to us by the family of Uncle Zeph Motufe, of whom officially the family accuses the government of apartheid, government of poisoning the man while he was in prison, or while he died when he was out. That is their position. But a lot of deaths and a lot of damage. But what's worse than that, can you keep track of that camera? Okay, well, point it this way, sir. To me. Oh, I am. Okay, well, let me be quiet then. All right. Look, you know what's worse than Robben Island? I got to tell you there's something that's worse than Robben Island. What's worse than Robben Island, sisters and brothers, is that to this very day, there are still brothers and sisters who fought the apartheid regime, who fought in the bush, who fought their military, who fought their police, who fought to bring the government to the negotiating table because they was losing lives out there. And they had to negotiate and go get Mandela to negotiate a deal. But what's worse than Robben Island is that men who stood up and fought for their liberation and fought against an illegal government, once the new government took over, they still remain political prisoners. Did you understand what I'm telling you? Did you know that there are thousands of blacks in South Africa or Azania that are still locked behind bars for crimes, alleged so-called crimes against the apartheid regime? And this was outrageous as I sat down in Soweto with a whole group of activists. How can you, what crime can you commit against a criminal regime? What illegality can you commit against an illegal government? And so once the government was replaced, everybody should have been let loose. Everybody should have been let loose. And I'm telling this to the Pan-African Congress and everybody that's for justice in South Africa. If you will leave those men and those women behind bars after they fought for your independence, however you characterize your independence, you'll never be worthy of true liberation. I said to them, where are the lawyers, the revolutionary lawyers here? They're 89%, the black man and woman, and damn near 90% with 13% talking about free Mumia, free Imam Jilamil Alameen. We're complaining, but let's keep it real. If a lawyer like myself or any one of these other lawyers, Roger Wareham, any one of them, black or white, appeal, federal appeal, state Supreme Court, United States Supreme Court, writ of certiorari, habeas corpus motion, habeas corpus appeal. And how does it go? State court appeal, denied. State Supreme Court, denied. Federal appeals court, denied. Writ of certiorari to free any number of political prisoners here, denied. Habeas corpus motion, denied. Appeal of habeas corpus motion, denied. Appeal of the habeas corpus motion to the Supreme Court, denied, nigga, again. And that is the injustice, pardon me, but that's the reality of it. Coming from the white power structure and their judges here in America, and we being 13% of the population. We fight the legal fight. But we don't control the system here, and we don't have the numbers, and they hit you, and often they are rejecting the appeals and the legal motions for political prisoners. And it's only a rare moment that we can take action like they took for Assata Shakur and straight spring a black woman. Just take our political prisoners. But it's hard to do, sister, when you're 13% of the population. But our message to them is that you are 87% of the population. You are 90% of the population. When you put pressure on this system in Azania, South Africa, when your lawyers are in court and you're rallying out of court, you push them buttons and somebody gonna move. And if you don't stop pushing buttons, and with them kind of numbers, you can go get them. Did you hear what I'm saying? You can go get them when you got 90% of those kind of numbers. There's work to be done. And so I want to get my law license in South Africa because they told me that nobody filing motions. We must free all political prisoners all over the world. All over the world. Continue on. 9 o'clock. Continue on. Y'all all right? I'm talking about Africa to those who are listening. Make sure you start that Ustream over again when you got to start it. My subject is Africa. Not just, it's our experience in Africa, but I'm talking about what's going on in Africa and the future of the struggle of our people all over the globe and how it relates to Africa. Next, Pastor Ted Sutton, he went with us from the Maryland Church of God in Christ and from the Ministers of Defense. He was a big hit. They loved him over there, Pastor Ted. This is, where is this? Oh, that's the shopping mall. You know, you say they just running around living in the jungle with no modern conveniences and barefoot. They be lying. You go over there to South Africa, they got malls just like here. Big shopping malls and all of that right there in South Africa. Azania, so-called South Africa. Go to the next one, please. Next one. Strong. When we hold right there for a minute. Seems like I missed something. Go to the next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. I'll stop right here, then I'm going to come back. I got schooled by the elders. at every step of the way, it was some elder, some veteran that had fought in the wars against the apartheid regime or fought against old Ian Smith and fought against Rhodesia. And I had elders in their 70s and 80s that pulled me to the side and would just give me a little, a little pamphlet or a word or some wisdom, man, and it was valuable to me. Just like this elder here from the PAC. I spent time with him. I went in his store. I mean, he was doing kind of rough in his store. I mean, he had nothing in his store, but he had his ideology. And he wanted to pull me to the side and tell me about his ideology and what he was teaching from the Pan-African Congress. And man, I feel like I've been blessed to just to be touched by the elders, because it was some serious study. Back it up a few. Go. Back it up. Yeah, back up some. Okay, I'm figuring it out. Now my days are straight. Every day was awesome. I'm right here in the offices. You can't hardly see it, but you can see it was another one of them meetings, but this was an important meeting. This was in the offices of the Zanu PF in South Africa. Zanu PF. How many people know what that is? Raise your hand. Tell me what that is, black man. Yes, it is the ruling party in South Africa, ZANU PF, some Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front. This is the party of Mr. Mugabe. I'm going to get to that in a minute when I get to Zimbabwe, but I had to get to Zimbabwe. I bought a ticket to go to Zimbabwe, not even knowing how I would get in there or how it would work out. I just bought it on faith. Just bought it on faith. And then when I got there, they took us to the offices of ZANU PF in Azania. And inside the offices of ZANU PF, I had to give a presentation. And God blessed my tongue. And blessed my tongue because what was in my tongue was in my mind. I came to help. I came to work. I got to be straight up with y'all, man. And some of y'all may debate with me either on the internet or on this phone. I'm going to take up some questions. If you can text 240-464-1520. Your phone on? 240-464-1520. I'm going to take a few questions in a minute. Look, I came to help Mr. Mugabe. Straight up. I came to help Mr. Mugabe stay in office and to ZANU PF stay in office. I'll get to that in a minute. When I gave my presentation inside Azania to ZANU PF, we were blessed. And when we were blessed in that meeting, that got our ticket into Zimbabwe. Full diplomatic credentials, everything from the government was covered right in there from that meeting. So we got ready to transition from being hosted by a revolutionary group inside of Azania to the government of Zimbabwe. Whole government wrapped their arms around us. And in a few days took us on in. Continue on. But every step of the way, I had to make some kind of presentation. I had to make some kind of pitch. I had to make our purpose known. And we was blessed with success. Here they are, our family from Zimbabwe. And you know in there, you know what the cry is? In Zimbabwe, it changes. It's Pambere, not Chimarenga. In this part of Africa, the cry is Pambere, not Chimarenga, meaning on with the struggle. Get the struggle on and victory will be certain. But in the other part of Africa, the battle cry is Izweletu. Izweletu. The land belongs to us. In another part of Africa, the battle cry is Uhuru. Uhuru Sasa. Freedom. Freedom now. Back in the South, the battle cry is Amanla. Amanla Wetu. Power belongs to us. Another part of the planet, the battle cry is Allahu Akbar. No power, no force shall we bow down to. We bow down to God and God alone. Another part of the planet, the battle cry is forward ever, backward never. Forward ever, backward never, huh? Free the land by any means necessary. All over the planet, brothers and sisters, they're crying out and they want justice. But in Zimbabwe, it's Pamberi, not Chimaranga. Chimaranga means a struggle or a revolution. I'll get into it in a minute. The first Chimaranga, the second Chimaranga, the third Chimaranga, and the fourth Chimaranga. Go on to the next slide. Nothing but love here. When we met our Zimbabwe brothers and sisters, Pastor Ted Sutton again, our national spokesman, Minister Sean Kwali, on fire over there. Excellent job. Let's go to the next one. Continue on. Downtown Johannesburg. I mean, I guess these is big palm trees, right? I guess these buildings is big trees with coconuts, right? And I guess these cars are donkeys and mules, right? Right. All right. Man, I swear I went out there on some parts of Johannesburg. It was just straight up like 125th Street. Straight up. It's like I'm out here on 125. Let's go to the next one, sir. Bilal Akbar. I'm sorry, Mr. Brown. Elders. Respect the elders. There's a lot to be said in that. Continue on. Ibo Kosini Solutions. That's what I was trying to get out over. Ibo Kosini Solutions. And Baba Buntu, who may be watching right now. We love you, Baba Buntu. He has a cultural house where he teaches children and our people of their culture on a regular basis. Like we have African-centered schools and institutions here, they have them there and they need them there. And Baba Buntu of Ibo Kosini Solutions is a major contributor and a major part of our tour. His picture will be up here soon. Go ahead, okay? That was a sign going in this. Let's talk about this black woman right now. I hope she's watching. This is Sister Zandi, who is the new Black Panther Party representative in Azania, based in Soweto. That's our chairwoman. That's our chairwoman, Zandi. And Zandi cold-blooded. There and some other sisters was member of a movement called the Black Wash Movement. Black wash, meaning to wash themselves black after being whitewashed. But they loved us so much, they wanted to be new Black Panther Party. And since we're not sexist, and since we don't deny the black woman no opportunity that she qualified for, she immediately qualified to become the chairwoman over Soweto. And we have opened up an office in Soweto. And activity and the new Black Panther Party is growing across Azania right now. They coming in every day. They coming in every day. Oh, yeah. Let's go to the, and this is young brother here. Back that up 1 second. We're going to get to that too. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Brother Giff is the youth ambassador from ZANU PF, from the government in Zimbabwe. He spoke at Sharpeville also. He spoke so strong, he burned them up. I mean, he burned up everybody. Strong young man. He wants, I hope Giff is watching. Giff wants, and they want black college students in America to come and witness Zimbabwe for themselves. Don't read the newspapers. Don't read what the enemy and the British are putting out. Come to Zimbabwe and see it for yourself. And that's something that we're helping him and them on. See it for yourself. Next one. Yeah, we had to stop for a minute because this is our divine black goddess host, Sister Pinky. And we wasn't playing, man. We really had to bow down to this sister for a moment because this sister treated us like kings and like gods over there, man. I mean, we had everything was so comfortable, so nice, so well laid out, down to the T, whether you was on a halal diet or vegetarian, all of that was laid out by the Honorable Sister Pinky. And if you're watching, Sister Pinky, we love you. We love you. Continue on. Here we are back in Soweto on the 24th. Continue, go to the next one. A Pan-African Congress. It's called a Pan-African International. When all of the Pan-African activists got together on this day. Let's go to the next one. You can just tell I was in heaven over that bad boy. I mean, it was treated me in many instances like a head of state or someone. I was really treated with some serious respect. And I learned more about myself, man, and what my job is. And had to really take this thing, I mean, I always take it seriously, but I take it more serious now. Now, next. These are all of the Pan-African organizations in Azania. Many of them PAC veterans, some of them APLA veterans. These brothers and elders spent time in prison, have been tortured in prison. They fought the enemy, been shot by the enemy, have shot the enemy. And all of us got in and strategized in the Pan-African International about where our movement is headed. And we are headed somewhere. You better believe that. Next. Again, and these are some of the sisters. I forgot what dance group they were from, but they put on a heck of a performance that day. Let's move on to the next one. One of our elders, I can't call his name right now. When you hear these stories, then you realize what revolution is. King Samir tell you, you say you revolutionary over here. Well, we meet revolutionaries that have done everything in the revolutionary book. And the mere fact they gave us respect and to a degree gave us the mantle put a lot of weight on our shoulders. Next. These are the groups, Blackwash, PAC, and some other groups. There's Baba Buntu there also from Ibo Koshini Solutions. Let's continue on. Sobukwe right there. Continue on. Sobukwe. And my main, back that up one day. So this brother, back it up one point, because I hope he's watching. Chris Sankara. Chris Sankara. No, he's not related to Thomas Sankara. The revolutionary leader of Burkina Faso, 1983-1987, assassinated by the West. I know there's a lot of Africa. I know some people say, man, I'm so tired of him talking about Africa. Africa, I'm telling you this, I'm going to keep talking about Africa. I can't stop talking about Africa. I'll get back to all of this, police brutality and everything that's going on in these cities, but let me just be African for a minute. Because Africa make you stronger. It's not a joke that having an African experience will make you stronger. I love Brother Chris because he's humble. He don't want to be heard. He don't want to be seen. He just does the work. And what a worker he is. Next. After that Pan-African meeting, all of the activists gathered around like this. All of these people just ain't people that watch lectures. They are all activists, and they sat around for a serious strategy and question and answer session, and I had to face all of them, and they had some hell of a questions. I mean, they was getting all up off deep into economic philosophy and socialism and capitalism and all of that, and I had to field all of these questions, and I had to handle it. And man, and God be blessing me to handle it from what I learned from who? Khalid Muhammad, Farrakhan, and all of these others. I spoke to him before I got here. Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Ben, others. I took our revolutionary experience there, and it worked. We got some good things here also. Next. Typical South African white man. Typical Boer. A gritty kind of cracker. Kind of tough. And he believes that that land is his. He's ready to throw down with you. No, he ain't. Look, he'll tell you in a minute where to go. Ain't got no cut card in his game. He'll tell you in a minute how they feel about you and where you can go and how they feel about the African, and will tell you in a minute that Africa's his. He's no joke when it comes to an enemy. Now, we had him frightened. I got articles, I mean, they're absolutely frightened of our presence there, and they should have something to be worried about. Because the time of them controlling the land from behind the scenes is over. The white man still controls Azania. Did you hear what I said? I said that the white man, the minority from behind the scenes, controls South Africa, and through certain of those in power in the ANC, they rule the population from white through Uncle Tom over the blacks. 80% of the resources, or 80% of the resources in South Africa, the benefit and the money from them is all goes right out of South Africa. And foreign corporations own everything. The people own nothing. It's boiling over. A change, but tell it like it is, but a change is coming. But the basis of the change is economic injustice. Let's keep going. All right. I must have got to Zimbabwe. Go to the next one. Okay, let's stop right here. Man, I love flying South African Airways. I mean, I just couldn't enjoy flying any other airline any better than South African Airways. The stewardesses, maybe because they was just all African, I mean, they were beautiful. They were well-mannered, well-dressed, and I was just in heaven. I flew to South Africa 16 hours on with a black pilot, about 30-something years old, flying the plane. Did you hear what I said? And didn't lose an ounce of sleep. I slept sound, knowing that my black brother flew me in to Azania, South Africa. And you went on Delta Airlines and saw a 30-year-old black man flying the plane. You know good and well you run up out of LaGuardia. You see you flying out of LaGuardia, running out of Kennedy Airport, trying to get to Newark Airport or something to catch you a flight where you got you a white pilot. Am I right or wrong? We do not taught to believe in black. Let me tell you this, when you up there flying that high for that many hours and a black man flying it, you learn to believe in black. And pray to black and for black. And learn that the black man can do what he will. He's not inferior to nobody and nothing. Let's continue on. Uh-oh. Did we hit the wrong button or something? That's all right. I'm going to come over here and look at this thing here.
All right, let me go out of here and see.
Come back to Facebook. Right there. There you go. Any questions now? Look, I'm coming to open up. I'm going to open up in a minute. You can text your questions to 240-464-1520. 240-464-1520. I'm about to open up. So let me speed it up a little bit. Brothers and sisters, I brought a ticket to Zimbabwe on faith, believing that if I went in with the right heart and the right spirit, God would bless me to get in to try to get to talk to either President Mugabe or President Mugabe people about the situation in Zimbabwe. You know what's happening in Zimbabwe, right? You understand that Zimbabwe is former Rhodesia, right? Okay, this is one of my hosts. I'm not going to say his name because England and America have put a certain number of black government officials in Zimbabwe on a no-fly list where you can't even fly a plane somewhere. The white man have put them under international sanctions and they can't even fly. And so a certain number of them I know. That's why when we came back to America, they wanted to do what? Some of us, they wanted every piece of paper. I'll just go copy this real quick. Let me just go copy this. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Now, they didn't get nothing from me. because I went in, I guess I'll get to it in a minute. I keep getting to get to something. But I don't want to get to the end while I'm in the middle. But I'll tell you how I handled them crackers. They didn't get nothing out of me. And didn't even want to deal with me because they knew they was dealing with a match for them. But they harassed all of my men because they want phone numbers and information off of them papers. Ha-ha. It's intrigue involved, you know what I mean? It's great, it's glorious, it's exciting, it's rewarding, but it's also danger. It's also repression. It's also welcome back to America, nigga. I'm the white man. This is my territory. I'm here now. It's all of that going on here. Anyway, my main man by the poolside in Zimbabwe talking about the moves we're about to make. Let's go on. A bold black woman right here. Her name is Sister Mbarika. Mbarika's a cold-blooded queen. When she was 16 years old, she fought in the war against Rhodesia. When she was 16 years old, she had an AK-47 and she fought in the bush against the Rhodesian government and against the British to help free the people to what was later known as Zimbabwe. She's cold-blooded. And we met many of them who fought in the war against Rhodesia. She is our current chairwoman in Zimbabwe. I'm talking about Mbarika. She's the chairwoman of the Panther Party in Zimbabwe. And we got a mission in Zimbabwe. We ain't just setting up chapters. We got a mission. Let's go to the next one. Mbarika, she's a cold-blooded sister. I mean, she may be up in her 60s, look good, skin shining like black gold. Harare, Zimbabwe. Boy, it's a bustling little city, too. Black man and woman of Zimbabwe. They tough little people over there. Tough. I'm telling you, I see why, no disrespect to us. I love black people in America. But I can see why some Africans can come over here and just take over. Because the conditions are harder there and money harder to come by. And you come over here, they go, what you waiting on? They look at you and say, what you waiting on? The Bible say we've been robbed and spoiled. Robbed of a knowledge of self, spoiled like Lazarus from the crumbs that fall off the rich man's table. If they come over here, you will be driven out of here because them brothers and sisters got some hustle. Go next. Go next. Little school children in Zimbabwe. All of us didn't go to Zimbabwe. Some did. Samir and them, they said, I put them on the bus. They so dedicated. They gonna come in on the bus. They didn't know the bus was gonna take 18 hours from Johannesburg to Harare, but they rode that bad boy out tough. I blessed them with some nice smooth plane tickets to get back. But they was right with the people, 18 hours. School children, these, I'm telling you, talk to them, their spirit be up. Go to the next. More Harare, just a black man and woman of Zimbabwe, trying to make it under U.S. sanctions. Sanctions against the nation have not hurt the government, they've hurt the people. Sanctions on Zimbabwe are weapons of mass destruction. And one reason we went there was to investigate the negative effects of sanctions and how they are crippling and hurting the people and not necessarily the government. Go to the next. Heroes Acre Gallery. Oh yeah, come on. Go next. That's old no good Cecil Rhodes. Go to the next one. I think I got him again, maybe bigger. Back it up. Anyway, back it up one slide. It's a small thumbnail, but that's Cecil Rhodes. Cecil Rhodes was the founder of what? Rhodesia. Cecil Rhodes was what? Founded mining in South Africa. He was the British man in South Africa. He founded the De Beers Mining Company and was the British man in South Africa and who allegedly founded Rhodesia. He didn't find Rhodesia because we had been in Zimbabwe and been in that land for millions of years. Okay? But the white man says that Cecil Rhodes founded Rhodesia. Let me show you the results, some of the results of his founding Rhodesia. Go next. Can you see that? These are the mass bones, and from a mass grave, from mass murder, from Ian Smith, who later down the line, after 1900, I'm talking about now up in 1978, Ian Smith, the leader of Rhodesia, these are his crimes against humanity. This is the result of the black Holocaust in Zimbabwe, what they call Rhodesia, mass graves and mass bones stacked up from them just murdering black people who stood up for their independence. And let me tell you this, these scenes here are not just for those who they murdered fighting for independence. They murdered black people like that when they were setting up mines. They murdered black people like this when they were taking their land. At every instance, you need to understand that a Holocaust have taken place in Africa. And I don't want to hear anybody saying that I'm happy to be a Rhodes Scholar, or teach their babies that it's value in being a Rhodes Scholar. I am a Rhodes Scholar. That's like a so-called Jew saying I'm a Hitler scholar. Go on to the next one. Look at the skulls stacked up from old Ian Smith. You know what Ian Smith in Rhodesia said? Zimbabwe will never be under black rule, ever. White man said, never will it be under black rule. Until they drove up Mugabe and Nkomo and revolutionaries in Zimbabwe rose up with armed struggle and drove them out. And when you're in Zimbabwe and you're talking to them leaders in Zimbabwe, all they want to talk about is armed struggle. And they Christian to the core. I mean, they some Lord Jesus Christian, all of that to the core, and armed struggle. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. That's what they talking about in Zimbabwe. I mean, Easter Sunday, big. Everything closed down in Zimbabwe and South Africa. That's Christian lands. Take it for what it's worth. But let me tell you this. They know about their God and their gun. Because they fought through this. Keep going. Look at the mass bodies stacked up here. Next one. Mass bodies. Revelation 6 and 8. Say, I beheld a pale horse, and death was the rider. In the book of Revelations, 6 and 8 talks about a pale horse, and death being the rider on that horse, with the power to kill, and was given a fourth of the earth to rule, talking about Europe. But that pale horse is the white man. And everywhere he has gone on the earth, from the east to the west, he has murdered the original and the aboriginal people and left their bodies and their bones stacked in mass graves. But Revelations in the 6th chapter also talked about a black horse. And on the black horse, it was a rider with the scales of justice. Meaning that a black man, a movement will come about that knew what? Ma'at. That knew something about truth, justice, harmony, righteousness, order, and reciprocity. Come on. These brothers and sisters died. And they didn't die for no Rick Ross and Wale and no ghetto gangster music. Keep going. We still on? Tell me, Minister Sean, are we still on? Mass bodies. All right, Akbar, keep me going. Keep going. We're going to try to get out of Zimbabwe and go to these questions. Come on, let's go. They took us on a revolutionary tour. The government, those that run the country, took us and treated us like diplomats from across the water and took us where we supposed to go. It's a typical black freedom fighter who was fighting out there from inside or outside or across the bush. I mean, they taught us all kind of stuff. Some stuff you don't even talk about, how to move with the leaves and the trees and the brush and how to blend in with the people and, you know, the people of the water and the revolutionary is the boat and all of that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff you need to know. Next, Mugabe and Nkomo and the originals, brothers and sisters who came to power in Zimbabwe in '80. Next, Heroes Acres. This is where they honor all of the revolutionaries who fought to create what's called, or to take back Zimbabwe from the enemy. And it's beautiful. There's a woman there. You know what I noticed in Zimbabwe, they wouldn't let the woman fight. I mean, straight up, it's just women freedom fighters and women ex-freedom fighters everywhere. I mean, they carrying guns and everything. I don't know what they doing over here, but I know over there, if you can fight, you're gonna fight. And the woman is honored there for her role in the struggle. Next, heroes. All of this. If you look into these walls on the monuments in Zimbabwe, it's all about the struggle. All about what took about to feed and clothe and get that revolutionary chain to feed the so-called guerrillas and freedom fighters that fought our people, fought for our people. Go ahead. Continue on. More of the same. Beautiful monument. These stones look similar to the monuments that the Muni Muntapa or the Mutapas built centuries ago. But they're replicated here in Zimbabwe. Continue on. Our eyes are on you, our brothers and sisters, the fallen heroes of Zimbabwe. We bleed for you, yes, we may not grieve, for in you is our rebirth, and you are all that we shall ever be. Continue on. So you're getting real black when you get in Zimbabwe. It's extra black up in there. Now South Africa, black, but you know, in Zimbabwe, it's blue-black. It's getting blacker, but it's black in terms of struggle. Not just color, it's struggle. Continue on. These are the graves of those that fought the liberation and died in the war or shortly thereafter, the founding fathers of the nation. Go ahead, continue on. Continue on. There, stop. Oh, beautiful Zimbabwe. And that's what the struggle is all about there, land. In 1980, when they came to power, the white man controlled 90% of the land. The British agreed and promised at the Lancaster House agreements that they would participate in redistribution of the land and that they would help the land be redistributed back to the original people. But they lied. And 20 years later, in 2000, Mr. Mugabe got tired of it. He said, my people are poor and suffering, and outsiders and foreigners are owning 90% of the arable or fertile or minerally rich land, and something's got to change. And so Mugabe took action for the land under the theme Pamberi Nachimaranga. Also, indigenization. He has an indigenization policy, which means that the land and the minerals must go back to the indigenous people. This is why they hate President Mugabe and why they hate ZANU-PF, because there is but one Pan-African party in power in Africa. It's in Zimbabwe. It is not in Libya. It is not in Egypt. No disrespect, it is not a Pan-African government in Ghana. It is not a Pan-African government in the Ivory Coast, Senegal, in Nigeria. It is not a Pan-African government in the Congo, the Central African Republic, in Gabon, in Kenya, in Somalia. It is not a Pan-African government, but in Zimbabwe.
All right.
And the struggle there is about the land. There's diamonds in Zimbabwe. There's gold in Zimbabwe. And I'm here to tell you this, if you have a righteous mind and you're not a super capitalist bloodsucker, but you could want to make some money, it's cool. There's a door for you. There's a mine for you. There's land for you. There's a mind for you if you got the right mind. No, I'm serious. I sat down and met with some heads of the mining companies in Zimbabwe and went down into the details of how much earth is tons come out a day and how much diamonds come out of that and all of that talk. And I want to share it with some of y'all. It's political. Our trip is political. It's spiritual, but it have an economic component to it. I want a mine in Zimbabwe. I want the Black Panther Party to have a mine in Zimbabwe. The Pan-Africanist Congress to have a mine in Zimbabwe. Everywhere I'm at, there's some Chinese man walking around. Oh, the mine, the mine. I'm in the hotel. Oh, who are you? Oh, yeah. Everybody trying to get a piece of that, but for the wrong reasons. But I'm here to tell you this is your land. I'm here to tell you this is your land. And if you treat this nation right, this can be your land. Some of y'all want to get out of here. Some of y'all tired of fighting to pay $1,400 a month for a 1-bedroom. Some of y'all tired of being squeezed every minute. Some of y'all want to live in Africa. Let me tell you this, it's a real possibility. Next. These are some of the leading government members, man. They hosted us. I love them all. Continue on. This one I got to getting down to business. Right in the headquarters of ZANU PF. ZANU PF. And let me say this before I go any further. Everywhere I went in Zimbabwe, in official circles, they spoke of the good work of the December 12th movement in America. Yes, they did. Straight up. Everywhere there, they talking about some December 12th, who are my teachers and who are some of my mentors. And Viola Plummer is like an aunt to me. And Roger Wareham, we go way back. And Coltrane Chimaranga and all of them go way back. And so just don't think I'm getting fancy here. I ain't the first black man that went in here. And I won't be the last. But by God's grace, we got something to do here. And I'm going to tell you about it. Now, I met here with the top, Mr. Mugabe sent his top officers, his top cabinet members in the government out here to hear what I had to say. Continue on. Continue. That's Sister Opa, the head of Women's Affairs. She's not on the banned list. Everybody else at that table is. Continue on. Continue on. Am I out? All right. Back it up 2 shots then. Back it up 2 shots. Okay, back it up then. I'm going to tell you about them men also, then I'm going to close. Back it up a little bit. Back it up. Back it up. Man, to be on that kind of tour with that kind of pressure on you, And every meeting you go into, you got to be right and exact. And this was like day 8 in Zimbabwe. And I get all these government officials around. Man, I'm just telling you, man, there is a God. And I was blessed to make presentations. After this presentation in front of these government ministers and the press in Zimbabwe, first of all, it hit the newspapers the next day. And they immediately said, you cannot leave in the morning. You must meet with the president. And so everything was put on hold so I could meet with Mr. Mugabe. Okay? Which I narrowly missed. I mean, we was waiting there right next to Parliament the next day. But the fact is that there's an election there. And this election ain't no joke. I mean, it's a heated and contested election. And so his cabinet meeting ran over and he had to leave out to go into what? The BRICS summit. BRICS, B-R-I-C-S, meaning Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. It's a threat to the European Union and the Western Bloc. They are absolutely frightened of it. They're absolutely frightened of BRICS. So Mr. Mugabe had to rush out to BRICS before we can meet. But nevertheless, this meeting right here I had cemented the new Black Panther Party relationship with ZANU-PF. And I'm going to tell you straight up, ZANU-PF and the new Black Panther Party, we are allies. And we need an alliance with ZANU-PF, the new Black Panther Party, the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, APLA, the Nation of Islam, the December 12th movement. We must have a universal Pan-Africanist movement and the United States of Africa, and I'm in the game, and that's what I'm fighting for. A United States of Africa and a united Pan-African movement. Now we gotta support Mr. Mugabe. He's got to win this election. It's coming up in June and between June and October. And I'm closing on this. You say you've been closing so much. But how can I leave this out? There's an election coming up. This is our Pan-African government, right? But they're under attack from sanctions. The West say he's a dictator. Okay, so what did they have? Elections. They allowed an opposition party called the MDC to exist. And because of support from British finance, American finance, and white people, the MDC have got some power in Zimbabwe. They got probably 49% of the seats in parliament. And they do not have the presidency. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that it's what you call an inclusive government. It has ZANU-PF as the major party, and MDC has also got seats, and Morgan Shanghai. Oh, Uncle Tom Morgan Shanghai. You know who I'm talking about. He's a puppet for the West. And he wants to turn out the Pan-African government to make it a friendly doormat for the West. So they got an election coming up that the MDC is avoiding. And we pushing for Mugabe in Zimbabwe and all over the world. Meaning that the job of our chapter in Zimbabwe is going to be on the ground, hitting the streets with them ZANU-PF Mugabe posters and pushing to get Mugabe elected, but we got a job too. I'll tell you about something that's going to happen in a few months, within a few months. We want to set up forums like this all over America. And Mr. Mugabe going to come on by satellite. And Mr. Mugabe going to have Mugabe Speaks to the World. Uncut, unfiltered by CNN and BBC. We want to set this up in countries and on the webcast all over the world and get all progressive organizations to feed into the webcast. And for Mugabe to speak to the world, unedited. And we can turn the tide in that election. It's dependent on every vote. We can turn the tide. And we fighting to keep a Pan-African government in power. Now, this is where a vote does count. This is where a vote does count and will count. And when we had this meeting, it had an effect inside the country. Like when we went out on the streets the next day in Zimbabwe, they was throwing up that black fist. But also, there was enemies lurking. Because there's some stuff between that Zanu PF and them MDC up in there. Hello? But we took our position. And we stepped right out there on them streets that next day and said, yeah, we with Mugabe, and that's it. How you doing and what's happening? And and everybody ain't on the same side there. That's right. But they need to be. If we can get 5 rappers to say I support Mugabe, the election is over in Zimbabwe. Do you hear what I'm saying? If I can get Rick Ross, any one of them, just to say I support Mugabe, and I can get the tape run on state-run TV in Zimbabwe, the election over. Why? Because the young people dominate there. And the young people are going to dictate the election. And the young people is listening to American rappers. And if American rappers can help remind them they forgot who fought for them in them wars against Rhodesia, then we can win the election. And I'm moving to accomplish that goal. Moving to accomplish a goal where Mr. Mugabe can speak to the world. Moving to accomplish some goals here that you will be able to map out and see. This government got to stay in power, or we don't have no Pan-African government. They killed Gaddafi and wiped Gaddafi out, and he was a Pan-African leader, though he not all the way black African. His policies were blacker than most black Africans. Now, Obama and the boys killed Gaddafi. Let's get to who's the culprit. They killed Gaddafi, and I'll be damned if they gonna kill Mugabe. Hello? Or drive him from power. Because this is our Pan-African base. I know some people got arguments with me over Mugabe, but right now he the best you got till you can get somebody else. Mugabe is the best we got. And that government is the best cover the Pan-African movement got. We ain't got no Pan-Africanists in power in Africa, but in Zimbabwe. We can't afford to lose this election. All right, I think I've said enough. And I'm gonna now look on your phone, sir, and see if I got questions. If anybody got questions for me anywhere in the world, you text us in America here at area code 240-464-1520. 240-464-1520. I'm at the House of the Lord Church in Brooklyn, New York. I've been here talking for now about 3 hours, and ain't nobody moved. I'm looking in these brothers and sisters' faces. They down for the cause. And I'm about to take some questions from them, and I'm going to take some questions from the audience. Our website is www.newblackpanther.com. If you want to help with our orphanage or any of our projects, I want you to, again, you can text area code 240-464-1520. If you want to be a part of this movement that we're building in the New Black Panther Party, either in it or somewhere around it, you text 240-464-1520. If you want to help Africa, text us at 240-464-1520 because we are serious. I'll take your questions in the audience, and Akbar, you'll tell me what's coming over the line. And then you can zoom the webcam in right here on this rostrum, just rock bar. Zoom right in here on this rostrum, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, dear brother. Let's give him a black hand. He takes a lot from me and have taken more from me than you will ever imagine. They say let them eat two at the same time. So look at this. Okay, I'm going to take Brother Dashawn Farad question. And what's your name, King? Brother Muta. Okay, we'll get into all of that. First of all, how many of y'all gonna do this? Just promise me two things. That you'll buy some food from our host. Unless you, what you gonna?
If one can't afford, somebody can buy somebody else's plate. Let's all eat together.
Let's put it like this. If you want a plate and you want it hand delivered to you right out there in this audience, raise your hand and Oba will come and interview you. And like a waiter, he will take your order and bring your plate and your drink to you. Would you like to place an order? Oba, look, who would like to place an order? We got two sisters in the back. We got three here. We got three here. Brother Oba, you got to be a waiter. Get your pad out and take your orders and let's serve our audience. All right? That's all I'm going to ask. Here. But let's keep our focus. The world is watching. This is an important webcast. Dashawn Farad. Brother Dashawn Farad, to paraphrase him, the great journalist says, how can people of color or black people from around the world participate and benefit from Africa's resources without exploiting the people? In essence, is what he's saying. It depends on who you are and what your character is. Because if you're a bloodsucker and you out to exploit somebody, you can go to Africa and do that. I cannot tell you that you cannot go to South Africa or any other part of Africa and not be a part of neocolonialism or exploitation if you want to. But now for righteous people who want a righteous relationship with Africa, who really love Africa, but also want some land there, and want to participate in the economic products and benefits, then you have to have some connections. And you have to go to Africa. And you have to have a relationship or connection with people in Africa. And for those that want to know more about that, you can reach me by email. My email is shabazzlawoffice@yahoo.com. shabazzlawoffice@yahoo.com. For those that really want to talk about mining and business, just email me at shabazzlawoffice@yahoo.com. And we can talk about business and finance, non-exploitive, non-bloodsucker business in Africa. And to me, it's tied into the politics. You know what I mean? You fight to help get Mr. Mugabe elected, and you will have some blessings in Zimbabwe. The black man and woman step up and help Mr. Mugabe get reelected. Who you think he gonna want to share some of the land with? Huh? So I would not go into further detail except that I have detailed knowledge on the mining in both nations and economic opportunities. And I am a businessman. Because it takes business and finance to run struggle. I can tell you that now. And I can give you a long list of receipts. Yes. Other questions? Back here, King, then I'm coming to you, ma'am. Then you, brother. Yes, sir. Black power to you, God. They beat you with a gun. I see your right eye swollen. New York police. Let me say this. How long ago was this? Then I want to talk to you afterwards. And I want to know the circumstance. First of all, there's no cause for nobody to be beaten like that by the police. Have you been charged with a crime? Failure to signal, that's it? But why did they beat you? Then I'm going to want to talk to you. I'm going to get into some details with you and talk to you because police cases are my cases. And federal police cases are my kind of cases. I'm in this for fighting some police and compensating and getting some justice for black people that's victims of the police, whether it's in my area or in jurisdictions around the country. And so I want to know about it. And for others who have similar cases, my email is shabazzlawoffice@yahoo.com. I am reviewing these police beatings, stop and frisk, and other illegal police actions. I'm into that. And I want you to take some time with me and explain it to me. So I or some of my other lawyers in my network of Black Lawyers for Justice can help you out. It hurt me to my heart, black man, to see you. But I see the spirit of struggle in you also, and I know that they didn't beat the wrong man. Because you about to be on them for about 2 or 3 decades. After they beat you and you know what you know, they have beaten the wrong man. All right? They can beat you down for a day, but your mind is not beat down. And now revolution is in your heart. All right? So I will not leave this lecture to me and you talk. All right. Come on. Clemson. Okay, first of all, ma'am, brother, Clemson Brown. Sir, Malik. Yeah. Has anybody from the ANC went to the PAC? Now, you know that's a good question because, to be honest, more PAC have went to the ANC. Let me tell you why. Yeah, very few cases of reversal at the moment, though there are some. But let me tell you how it works. The ANC has the money. The ANC got the money, and sometimes they play bread politics. They can give out money. The PAC does not have money. And so one of the goals of the ANC have been to break the back of the PAC through infiltration and buying off their leaders. But the ANC is under a lot of pressure from the people now, and there are some ANC, though I can't name them, are converting back. But you know really what it is? The field is wide open. When you go amongst the masses in Azania, none of them really have the masses. And it's wide open for the PAC if the PAC move right in Azania, because they have the best ideology, and their ideology and their commitment to economic changes resonates better because the ANC is widely viewed as corrupt. And they are corrupt. You know, that's a heck of a question you raised. I did not see Sister Winnie Mandela, although I was moments away from seeing her. But certain internal situations and internal politics made it not the wise move for me to go see Sister Winnie Mandela, but I was trying to see me some Winnie Mandela. But some stuff has gone down over there that we got to work through. And I'm not bucking my host just to go see Winnie Mandela. Because my hosts are my hosts. And I'm not going to be making my host mad, though some of them wanted to go see Mandela too. I'm trying to encourage the PAC to come out of the box, to maneuver to try to win over the country. But maybe next time. Sister Winnie Mandela's under murder charges. They had brought some new charges against Sister Winnie Mandela, something they say from 27 years ago, or some kind of action, and they got her on murder charges. The ANC, who she fought to put in power, have her up on murder charges. The former youth leader, Julius Malema, in South Africa, Azania, they have dogged him. He was taking a nationalist position, a position for the land. They stripped him of his post, charged him with all kind of false charges, bankrupted the man, then charged him with all kind of tax charges, and he's all in the paper dogging the man, trying to break the man. And so I wanted to meet with him, but maybe next time I'll see him. But I'm encouraging my allies in the PAC to go after Winnie Mandela and Malema and to rally the opposition if we're going to win the country. And so maybe we'll make some ground. I support Winnie Mandela and the ousted ANC youth leader, Julius Malema. I support both of them, straight up. Sir, alaikum salam. Okay, that's okay. I got that question. You got questions, Akbar? I got questions here. I'm gonna come to back to your question. What are Mr. Shabazz's thoughts on the first gay Zulu marriage? And what is the NBP position on Korea and the nuclear controversy? And now your question again, brother, give it to me straight. And then I'm coming to Khalik. Why are we as black people still in a state of oppression despite having a black president? You know, brother, that's a lecture in and of itself. But just in a word or two, I would say that number one, believing that anything that comes from the White House, regardless to who's in power, will actually equal our salvation is a major drawback. Like the teaching and the ideology that because we have a black president, that we have arrived, and it's the greatest act of all time, and nothing more needs to be done, that has hurt our people. Number two is, you know, brother, I have to tell you, black people's future and what they do is largely in our own hands. Up, you mighty nation, you can accomplish what you will. As many complaints as I would make about the white man and what he has done, I must say that the future of our progress belongs to ourselves. The white man is not stopping the new Black Panther Party from growing. The white man is not stopping the Nation of Islam from growing. The white man is not causing infighting in the black church. The white man is not stopping the black man from taking care of his children. The white man is not, he has his forces, his system, he has all of that, but he can't stop us. I have to tell you, even in Azania, South Africa, the white man, if you go over there saying white man, white man, white man, white man, they start to look at you funny after a while. Because it's black man, black man, black man everywhere. And it's in the black man's hands. The black man and woman have power to do what they will. You're only oppressed because you want to stay oppressed. The sun is setting on the white man's time to rule anything. He cannot stop us. He cannot stop us in America. He cannot stop us anywhere. And he cannot stop you, young man. A white man cannot stop us from getting an education. Cannot stop us from educating our people. Yes, he can beat on us. Yes, he commit police brutality. Yes, he has his devices. but it's time to rule is up, sir. So anybody watching this webcast, I want you to know that whatever we have to do here to fear the white man, not. Because fearing the white man is a waste of time. Know him. Prepare for him. Deal with it. But don't be preoccupied with him or he short circuits what God and the power that God have given you. He given us, it's the time for the black man to rule. Ain't no doubt about it. All right, my dear brother, and then we're going to let y'all eat. Oh, I am. And then I'm going to take some donations. Don't leave before you give me something. I really don't want to do it, but they forcing me to do it. Okay, Queen, Khalif, then Queen, then brother. That'll be the last question. And then we'll keep talking. Yeah, you're second. You all are second. My brother, first. Shh.
I want to first, I'm very happy for you and your team in regards to your travel abroad. Although we know Africa is everywhere. So anywhere we have black people, we have Africa. My only concern I have, or question that I'd like to come and take this evening, is that I guess being a Brooklyn night, I'm really concerned in terms of how we're coming into the community and the safety factor of those that decide to come partake with the new Black Panther Party for self-defense. We're saying that we do have a young man who was part of the new Black Panther Party for self-defense who's now incarcerated. And for those of you that may be from Brooklyn or would like to pay a visit, please pay a visit to Brother Helen. I'm going to go see him in the morning and share my love and give him some energy. And I suggest that those that are able to do so as well. And in closing, we get a lot of people that come in with good rhetoric and they fly away like pigeons. So I say that to say this. There are many of us who wear the red, black, and green without wearing it. So we are obligated to, from this point on, make sure that we're no longer raped by anybody coming in with various kinds of propaganda. And I'm not suggesting that that's what's being displayed here, but I am saying that there are people that's here that's watching. So if you're not writing that for your action, you are going to be called on it. So I put that and make that public notice from this point on. And my name is Khalif, and peace and blessings to you and the New Black Panther Party.
All right. We'll let that stand on the record. That's a strong statement, and I understand that statement. When they ask questions, you should use sir. Anyway, Akbar, you have to film these people asking these questions. You have to get off that phone. But they have to text that question. You have to use that camera. All right. Well, let me tell you this, and let me just say one thing about me and the new Black Panther Party, and we continue on. Let me say this. I don't need no pass to come into Brooklyn. I've been in Brooklyn 20 years, and I ain't got to pass no sincerity test. Once I done been through what I've been through, I ain't going through that no more. And I'm telling you this, the only thing I need is help from the black man and the black woman. Help. If I can get some help, I'll continue to give everything. And when I say I'm giving everything, I mean everything. Ma'am, come on, Queens, talk to me. How can you donate? Can you text us at 240-464-1520? I'll take all messages, and I want to confirm you on Cliptown, Soweto, and the website, and I would love to work with you and to help kids in Africa. Thank you. Last question, dear brother, then we're going to take some donations. Yes.
what did you think of that, or did you see any mention of that while you were?
I didn't see any mention of that, and I'm not surprised. There are other parties in South Africa or in Azania. I'm not surprised, and I want to know more about that. I want to take your first question about fundamentalist Islam and Pan-Africanism. First of all, I want you to I think you already know, but what I find is that the West has a vested interest in promoting what's called extreme Islam or radical Islam because it gives them an opening to attack. There are radical Muslims in Mali, radical Muslims. Here come the French parachuting out of the sky for what? For minerals in Mali. Now, there are some blacks in Africa who have taken Islam to an extreme and do pose a problem for Pan-Africanism. And so I have to say, no, they cannot exist. The Muslim that has an Arab mind and has a mind that say that the culture in Timbuktu is somehow un-Islamic, or that a statue or a sculpture that you can't distinguish a statue or a sculpture from God, so you have to destroy the sculpture, destroy the culture, because your mind is not advanced enough to distinguish between a statue and God, and you being taught that that's against God, somebody telling you that that's the Sharia or the law of Allah, then I got a problem with you. I got a problem with any black man that don't recognize the universal struggle of our people beyond religion and use religion as a way to divide our people. I'm hurt to my heart to see Nigerian brothers and sisters from churches burned up by other black people from Nigeria saying that they fighting in the name of Islam. That's an embarrassment to the religion I know. The religion I know don't teach that. And the reality that I know, the Muslims that I know are Muslims like Sekou Touré. He's a Muslim and a Pan-Africanist. Did you know Dr. Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah was a major student of the philosophy of theology and religious studies when he was a student here in the United States? Did you know that? And so the bottom line is, brother, no. If you in Africa, your commitment got to be to Africa. You can go to Mecca, but Mecca cannot be your mental headquarters.
That's right, that's right.
Go to Mecca, but Mecca, you can't get all your instructions from Arabia. You got to get, your mind got to be in Africa. My mind is not all off in Mecca and Arabia with a bunch of other kind of folks. My mind is with my people in Africa. I say straight up, like Minister Farrakhan said years ago, I'm not going to jump over my Christian brother or sister to hug no Arab Muslim. I'm not going to jump over them for them. I can make salat with you. I can make Juma with you. I can, if I have to, circle the Kaaba with you. But my battle is here. And I mean, my pilgrimage was to South Africa. To Africa. Did you hear what that? Did you hear what I mean? All the religious wars got to end. I'm for race first. Race first. One God, one aim, one destiny. You are my sister in Christ. I ain't got no problem with it. You know, and we can get into all of that at a point. Constantine and the tricks and the games, and we can get into the game Muslims play. But what we got to get into is this. Solidarity. Solidarity. When we travel, I travel with Christian pastors. And I talked at that table in Zimbabwe was Christian brothers and sisters. And I can go from the Quran to the Bible. All right. So, brother, I would like to dialogue further with you. I know you're a serious man, and me and you need to exchange information, and we need to work together. And some of y'all, let me ask you this on the webcast and before we close off. Some of you all, how many of you all agree with my message tonight? How many of you agree? And those who are listening, if you agree with the message on this webcast, I want you to go to newblackpanther.org and contact us. Contact me at 240-464-1520. If you want to be a part of this movement. Let's give Reverend Daughtry a black hand. Let me do this quickly, which I don't want to do. I'm going to train somebody else to do this. It's my last night doing it. We got to raise some money to cover these expenses. Let me say this to y'all. How many of y'all believe that the work that I'm doing and that we're doing, how many believe that it is worthy of financial support? If you own the website, I want you to go to www.paypal.com. Go to paypal.com if you're watching anywhere in the world and use the email attorney.shabazz@yahoo.com. Go to paypal.com. Use the email attorney.shabazz@yahoo.com and make us a donation. 1,000, 5,000, 2,000, 500, 100. Help us. I couldn't tell you how much good work I can do with just a little bit of money. Right here in this audience. Don't make me beg, because I'm too tired to beg tonight. Just break out with some money. How many of y'all, like they do in church, if you got $100, come down to the altar? How many of y'all will give us 100? Or write us a check or give us $100? Think about that. $100. Or $50. Now you know the enemy watching, right? You're going to say they talking all that strong talk. But let's see whether or not they're going to back this loudmouth Negro up. So let's see. Can I get some green in this black machine? Does anybody have 50 or 100? Farad, I know you got 100 because you saved on not going to Africa. So give us one of them hundreds that you didn't go to Africa with. Because you had some hundreds for Africa. Come on. I know you got something for me, man. Don't y'all make me beg. You're going to embarrass me. Because I said I wasn't even going to do this. Y'all just give us some money really for Jan Oba. And for renting the facility and the posters and some radio ads. There you go. There you go. Do I need to say your name? No. Anonymous. Anonymous, bold, cold black woman. Anonymous from a bold, cold black woman. $55 for my comrade sister. Here you go. Come on, we got some 50s or some 20s. Y'all come, just break out with something and I'll end it. Just break out with something right now. Come on. Let's break out with something. Just break out with some dead presidents. I saw dollars in Zimbabwe that was looked at like it was about 20 years old. Did you know that? I saw dollar bills. I saw $2 bills. Put that on the stand.
The gentleman just left. He just bought 8 plates and he gave $100. And he's a retired police officer. And he gave $100.
$100 from a retired police officer. He knew how to get the hell out of there.
He wants you to call him.
And he wants me to call him. But from a retired police officer who I'll name nameless. $100. Give him a strong black hand. Let's put this in the box. $100. And more money coming in. $50 from who? And let me say this, I didn't forget about what Brother Khalif said about our brother who was locked up. I just don't have any instructions to give out that information. And until I speak with his mother and his attorney, I'm not going on a public campaign until I get my instructions. But I will tell you this, that I'm looking into his case and I'm helping with his case. And I'm going, and if whatever they got, it's going to have to be proven beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt. All right? I can just tell you that. That's all I can tell you. And we will be seeing him. But I'm not going to go public and do that until I get my instructions. But my heart is heavy right now. My heart is very heavy. My little brother. My heart is heavy. Well, this is the webcast mic. My heart is heavy. Let me do this while we pass the buckets around. I want to bring to you King Samir Shabazz and Brother Sharif. Y'all come. And Brother Bilal. They are on security, but I want them to have a word. And I want them to have a word to tell you how this transformed their life. As you pass the bucket, sister, down every aisle. While you do that, but listen to King Samir Shabazz and Brother Sharif Amenhotep.
Black power. Black power. Black power. All power to the people. You say Israelatu. Africa. No compromise. And you say no surrender. One settler.
One bullet.
One bullet.
One settler.
One settler. I'm honored to be before you, black family, coming black from the motherland in Azania. Me already knowing this trip would change my life. So I went going on 16-hour flight, preparing myself to become a student, to become a child in this revolutionary struggle. I've sat down, brother, please, you're a little, please, thank you, sir. I've sat down with people who put the white man down in the dirt. I've ate with revolutionary brothers and sisters who gave their lives, lost lives, sacrificed everything they had for the liberation of Africa. And I have to be really honest with you. It made me recognize very quickly that black men in America talk too damn much. The black man in America is weak as hell because too many of our young girls in Africa are being raped at a very high percentage. And we here in America are doing nothing by our own black women and children right here in America. So it taught me to be a better black man. Yes, sir. It taught me to be a better protector of my mother, my father, my daughters. Mama, what's your name? And you know we got to be a protector of our elder, Margaret. So it taught me to be a better black man. It taught me that this revolutionary life is nothing to play with, because you can lose it as soon as you blink your eyes. Huh? But it taught me to take this revolutionary struggle much more serious. And it made me hate my enemy 100% more. And I'm honored to be an enemy to my enemy. Black power.
Black power. Black power. Ease Walatu.
Africa.
Ease Walatu.
Africa.
Africa. Africa. One bullet.
One settler.
One settler.
One bullet.
Black power. Man, I mean, I can't thank our national chairman, Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, enough. I can't thank him enough for inviting me, a young man growing up in Newark, New Jersey, knowing nothing about myself and kind, coming up out of the hells of the prison of America, being lost like many of our brothers in America, to come from these conditions to get black to Africa, the land of our birth, the land where we come from. Such an honor that we thank this man that we have in our midst. And we thank Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad for raising him up, giving him the vision for the black man in America today. The vision of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who taught us, that Africa for Africans, at home and abroad, to keep that spirit and keep that legacy alive to get us to Africa. Because we can see today that we're talking a lot about Africa, but we're not going. So we have made that journey, made that pilgrimage and that Hajj, and it has transformed my life. I done sat down, and we done sat down with, like the brother said, with real revolutionaries. Brothers who fought this cracker tooth and nail, who fought against apartheid, men who had bullet wounds in them, men who took lives for the liberation of our people. So this movement that we're on, family, that if you're black in America, you need to be on it. We need to be looking black to home, because how can we go forward if we don't know where we came from? If we don't have Sankofa, if we haven't returned back to the source from which we came, how can we go forward as a people? So I'm honored, to be able to carry, after 450-something years of our people being taken from that place, and for us, the children, the son, to return home was such an honor for me. And it really has, transformed my life, put me on a whole nother level, a whole nother mission, to be able to share the stories about Africa, because, we have heard a lot about Africa. We have read about Africa. I have studied about Africa, but it was nothing like returning there and to be able to get a first-hand account and be able to breathe the air there, to be able to have your feet on the soil there, to be able to talk with Africans who've never been to America, with Africans who don't want to come to America. It's hard to meet those type of Africans. So we met some real Africans that love Africa and don't want to come to America, or who want their land.
Black power.
Black power?
Black power.
Ease relate to. The Africa. Black power.
Black power.
All right, you recorded all of this, right? You recorded. We blessed, man. Look, I wanted those brothers to share, because we took a delegation, because it wasn't just about me going. I wanted others to go. And it really changed their lives. It changed their lives. I'll take another question from you, because what I want to tell those in the audience, especially those from the original Black Panther Party, stop fighting us. Just a few, not all, but a few. Join. I think maybe y'all understand now the kind of work that we're doing and how serious we are. Instead of trying to fight us, you should meet with us and join with us, because we got some good momentum right now. And we're not trying to show off or be fancy or take over Brooklyn or any of that. Brother, we just wake up every day knowing that this job had to be done amongst our people, and that we've been given some standing to do it. And very humbly, we got to do it. And trying to give y'all inspiration that it can be done. All right? We got to, and then you again, mother. Go ahead, brother. With the last couple questions on the webcast. Hold. Go ahead, mother. That's true. That is true. In Africa. All right. Thank you so much. I want a relationship with you too, ma'am, as a supporter of our movement. You know, I love Mr. Garvey. I really have a lot of respect for Mr. Garvey. Support. That means something. I love Mr. Garvey, and those are my two men, Garvey and Malcolm. Garvey and Malcolm. And I can understand how Malcolm, when he went overseas, how not only did he become transformed, but how he became a greater threat. And I can understand why when we came back to America, they were all on top of us. I mean, he missed his plane. He even let him fly out. And see, I don't like to talk about it a lot because I don't want y'all to be scared to come in this movement. But I just have to give you some facts. You probably don't have to go through what we go through anyway. You got to be involved in this. We'll take the heat. You know, but all of us was detained. All of us, right when you come into customs, everybody, all of us, they say it's random. How random is it? You, sir. You, sir. You, sir. And it ain't like we in there with uniforms. They want to fly with these uniforms on, and I won't let them. I say, no, you ain't flying with all that on. And once they get through going through all that stuff, they say, I understand why. It's bad enough just being me, let alone putting some extra stuff on it. And so they bring you back. Then they want to go in all your stuff. Then they want to go in all your papers. Then they want to copy your stuff. Now, I feel like I slipped a little bit because I didn't realize what persecution they would come under. And so I tell them right off when we get to customs, I object to this search. I'm not going for it. I object to it. And okay, and so they get it over with real quick. I mean, like, they don't go in my papers and be telling me they're going to take my papers. Now, they have done it in the past. Take my stuff and go copy it. I said, you're not, I went and did some research on that, and I'm saying you're not copying my stuff, and you're not looking in my papers, and you're not going to have my phone numbers. And then we're going to have to then we're going to wait right here. We're going to have a throwdown. The longer you detain me, I'm going to add it up, because how many hours you do to me is going to be worth X amount of $1,000 sometime in the near future. So they don't mess with me. This time they just get this, man, well, we heard it from everybody else, so we're just going to let you out of here. But they jump on my men and make them take all their stuff. But, you know, where there's no risk, there's no rewards. Amen. You know what I mean? And so I don't want to frighten nobody from being joined, but it is a liberation movement. It takes some risk. We'll take responsibility. We'll take the heat if y'all will just support us. And I can tell we did a good job by the reception they gave us when we got back. By the reception them white folks gave us when we got back, I could tell we had put in some real work. I mean, we had put in some real work. I mean, they just knew us. They over there, him. How you know all this? It's all right, though, man. They can't do nothing with us in this day and hour. They can't do nothing with us in this day and hour. Okay, I think that was last question, my dear brother. And we close out this webcast. Oh, this is what I want to say, ma'am. I must announce this because y'all can go. June 12th through June 17th, 2014. the New Black Panther Party, along with the Pan-African Congress of Azania, APLA, and many others, we're inviting 200 organizations or churches worldwide, or mosques, or groups worldwide. We're having a worldwide Pan-African convention right there in Johannesburg, June 12th through 17th, 2014. There will be a worldwide convention. We're working and organizing it well in advance right now. I want everybody listening by webcast. June 12th through the 17th in South Africa will be our worldwide Pan-African convention. And I want y'all to get ready right now because we're just getting started with our work. We're just getting started in Azania, South Africa. You can text us again at 240-464-1520 because I really want y'all to come. And those, I can see it in your eyes, you want to come, and I'm going to make sure you get in there, and that we got group rates and hotel rates, and you can come be a part of this experience. 240-464-1520. Part of it will be in Zimbabwe. But, you know, black man in America, you got to be tough to go in Zimbabwe. So I don't want to drop the conference attendance. But part of it will be a part of it will be to go in Zimbabwe. I got to tell this story before I go because it's some good advice to our people. In Africa, if you wear a military uniform, that ain't no big deal. I mean, it can be a big deal, but really to a degree, it ain't no big deal because the good guys and the bad guys got uniforms. There was a coup right before I left, Central African Republic. They had took over and killed 13 South African troops. They wear military uniforms, and the man that they threw out had a military uniform on. I mean, it's good guys and bad guys. It's no big deal. So we were in a restaurant in Harare. I went in there to take care of some business, and they were doing awesome security. And so they were in there real staunch, you know, like this, and doing their job, because we had just come out in the paper, and we knew some old Morgan Shangri people was out there. They was out there hot, you know, because Uncle Tom's was hot at us. So security was on extra alert. But we went in the restaurant, it was packed with brothers and sisters, right? And I'm getting some money out the machine, and all of the people in the restaurant, they stopped. I mean, they got real quiet, and everybody looked, and they was just looking at us and looking at me. And it wasn't like they was saying, I love you. And then it was like we were all froze for a moment. I said, man, this is rough. So I went to one brother and tried to shake his hand. He wouldn't even shake my hand. And so then another friend came over. They said, they think y'all Satanists. There's something going on in Zimbabwe. Some people, they say that they're Satanists. Oh, yeah. And they in Zimbabwe, they into the religion. They're going to ask you in a minute, you know, average person going to say, is you born again? You born again? You know? And so I had to work that crowd. Man, I worked that crowd, Jack. I worked that crowd like Obama be working him a crowd. Man, I had to go, and I spent time with one-on-one with every one of them brothers and sisters, and we tell them who they are and explaining. Man, we got to hugging and embracing and giving out Black Panther flyers to them and exchanging numbers. But I took time with every one of them almost to let them know that we are the good guys and not the bad guys. Because wearing a military uniform don't necessarily mean nothing. If you don't wear this, if you don't have the right heart and the right intention in wearing this uniform, you're just another oppressor. Or a soldier without political consciousness is a potential criminal, as Thomas Sankara teaches us. And so, man, I learned a lot. You have to talk to our people wherever they go. You can't be big and over them. You have to talk to them and take time with them and I don't care who they are. You're not better than any of the people. And that's what I learned. And so we leave you. The convention in 2014, stand by. Did y'all sign in today? You're going to hear a message from Mr. Mugabe himself soon, via webcast and live in person. When you hear the word go out, spread it everywhere. Help us get ZANU-PF and Mr. Mugabe reelected. And you follow our website, newblackpanther.org, because we're going to be on it. And I'm going to be on it. I'm right back here in America, and I'm going to be on top of these police and their police brutality, and help us build this party up. You like King Samir. You like our soldiers here. Join with them. Train with them and join with them. If you're a soldier, join with us. If you're in the politics, liberation politics, join with us. You're in the liberation theology, join with us. You like to wear a uniform, join with us. You don't care nothing about a uniform, join with us. You just like the way I sound, join with us. Come on, man. Up, you mighty nation. You can accomplish what you will. All power to the people. Black power. Izwaletu. Pomberi Nachimarenga. And all of the great greetings. Assalamu alaikum. I love you all. And the struggle continues. Aluta continue. Thank you. You can stop the broadcast now, sir. Thank you so much. Hey, my brother. Thanks.
I'll be with you 2000.
Buy some food. Come on and buy some food from our vendors.
I need your help. I need to contact one of the lawyers in your network in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay.
Okay.
What happened 10 years ago, I was incarcerated. And my name is